Greetings, everybody. My name is Robert Sean Kennedy, and I will be your history instructor for the fall 2020 online semester. So, welcome back. If you were with us in the spring or the summer, if you are taking your first semester of college, this is the first time, welcome. Thank you for enrolling in our courses. Thank you for enrolling in this course. This orientation is going to serve all my courses for 1301, 1302, full semester, and mini-mesters. So if it indicates that on the screen that this is U.S. History 1 and you're in U.S. History 2, dates and content will be different than what I'm showing you here, but as far as how assignments are assigned and applied, everything is basically the same. So that's what we're going to kind of go through, expectations and all of that today. But before we do, I would like to talk just about how strange the days are with COVID, with the election we are going through, with civil unrest, with the economy. When things are like this, when things get this bad, and this is the more, maybe bad is not the word I should be using, but at least they are disturbing and troubling. When they are this disturbing and troubling, studying U.S. history can provide some comfort because it begins to provide at least an avenue to understand how did we get into this situation. Can't explain everything, but you will begin to see some clarity of why things are the way they are. And the benefit of that clearly is if we understand where things come from and how they might have contributed to the situation we are in now, then collectively in our individual ways, both small, perhaps great, we could begin to change things for the better and move things in a positive direction that could begin to support people in many factors. So in U.S. history, we will be looking at politics. We will be looking at foreign policy. We will be looking at civil rights. We will be looking at racism. We will be looking at the tenets of capitalism and other economic models that societies have considered or applied in sectors of the economy. So with that said, we'll begin going through the orientation. This will be broken up into a couple of segments, but we'll begin with the syllabus. So let's go with the syllabus. Again, might look a little different in the course that you're in, but all of the syllabuses are going to be located in the orientation folder. So if you go here, click the syllabus, and kind of going through it, let me just highlight some of the things that you should be aware of. Course requirements, which will just basically explain what is going to be assigned for the semester and then give you an explanation of what to expect for those assignments. The thing I'd like you to pay close attention to that can be quite helpful, and again, this might look different to you in U.S. History 2 or in my mini-mester, the way things are calibrated as far as percentages are applied. But nonetheless, it's important to take a look at this. The Unit 1 exam is 10% of your total grade in U.S. History 1. The Unit 2 exam is 10%. Unit 3 is 10%, and Unit 4 is 10%. So collectively, the exams are 40% of your grade, but individually, they're only 10%. I like to point that out at the beginning because some students, and understandably so, get quite anxious when it comes to taking something that is called an exam, especially a unit exam. Although 10% is something you don't want to blow off, I mean, if you didn't do the exam, it would be almost nearly impossible to earn an A in this course. But if you prepared and gave it an honest effort and didn't do as well as you wanted to do, keep in mind it's only 10% of your grade. So let's just suppose you did study, you prepared the best you could, Unit 1 exam, usually the first exam is the most challenging since you're still trying to figure out the expectations of the course. You end up earning a 60%. Keep that in mind. Keep the calibration in mind. 60%, when you look at Unit 1 exam, that's 6% of the grade you have earned, right? And only have lost 4% of the grade. So just keep that perspective in mind as you go through. Don't blow off assignments just because they're at a certain percentage, but keep it in perspective just to mitigate the type of anxiety that you might be having, the degree of anxiety that you might be having. It's okay to be stressed. You should be stressed. It just means you care about your time and your efforts. But you want to avoid anxiety. That's where you begin to get crippled, and it becomes difficult to just carry through the most simplest things when it comes to your courses. Unit exams will have 25, usually we'll have 25 multiple choice questions, 5 short answer questions, and 1 lecture essay. And I'll go over specifically these in a little bit. But keep this in mind too, right? So collectively, the 25 multiple choice questions will be 10% of the exam grade. The short answers in exam 1 will be 30% of the exam grade. And the lecture essay that's assigned for this exam is going to be 60%, right? So just to keep that in mind as you go forward as well. Quizzes will assess your response to the chapter short answers. So keep that in mind. Discussion posts will be assigned. What you need to do with the discussion post is you need to request a prompt pretty much every week by a date, and I will send it to you. If you miss that deadline, let me know because you probably will be assigned an alternative assignment. The dates are all posted within the course content, so just be aware of when you are supposed to by the time. You can always request it early. And when you do, let me know if you are in 1301 or 1302, so I don't confuse the two. And the final paper. So I'll talk more about that later. I'm not going to bog that down right now, but there is a final paper that we'll discuss later in the semester. The schedule is listed here. It's subject to change, but most likely it's not going to change too much. Skipping up here too, there is no required book to purchase. All assigned content is made available to you online. The other thing I'd like to point out too is getting a hold of me. You're going to get a hold of me through Pronto. So if you're unfamiliar with Pronto, it's online chat, right? So you're going to click there, and it will open up. If you've never used it before, it might take a little while for it to load up. If it takes more than 2 or 3 minutes, just X out your window and go back to it. If you still have problems, then call Distance Education, or Distance Learning as they call it now, at 872-2598. That's 872-2598. I would write that number down. I put it in your phone. It's a good number to have. They are very helpful when it comes to technical problems. If you get a hold of me, I might be able to help you, but it's not. My background isn't in technology and applications for Blackboard. So there's people there that are dedicated to that that will be able to help you. And if it's an error on my part, they will be able to figure it out too, and they'll get a hold of me to ask me if there's something I need to adjust in the course. Okay, let's see. We'll call that part 1 for this orientation, and we're going to move on to some other applications in this course. So move on to part 2 in just a second, so you can prepare for the orientation exam.